Hi, everybody, and welcome to today's LionSide Chat. We're going to get started in just a moment. In the meantime, go ahead and make sure your audio devices are all set up, and feel free to add questions for us throughout today's presentation. All right. Hi, everybody. Welcome to Penn State Berks LionSide Chat's Majorly Prepared series. Come on in and welcome to our campus. We're so glad you could join us today. My name is Sonia Delaqueto, and I'm one of 3 LionSide Chat moderators, working alongside Professor Dawn Pfeiffer-Wright and Dr. Brian Hassler. Before we get started, we wanted to share that you should please feel free to submit questions throughout the program via the Q&A feature. We will not be utilizing the raise hand feature today. However, once the presentation concludes, we will facilitate a discussion with our Majorly Prepared session facilitators. We will also be recording today's session so that you can revisit the topic or even share the experience with friends and family. So now we are so excited to introduce Dr. Donna Chambers, who will start our discussion on engaging possibilities here at Penn State Berks. Dr. Chambers? Oh, you're still on mute.
Okay, let's try that again. Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome. Thank you, Sonia, for the introduction, and thank you for facilitating our chat today. As she just mentioned, today we're going to talk about engaging possibilities. We're going to talk to you about all the opportunities available to you outside of the classroom so that your time at Penn State can be a very, very rewarding experience. So I'm going to start by talking to you about CACE. I am, again, Dr. Donna Chambers, and I'm the coordinator of CACE, which means that that is the Center for Academic Community Engagement. In normal times when we are on campus, my office is located in Franco 144, and we have a wonderful administrative assistant by the name of Maureen Farr. So that's where you can find us when we're on campus. When we're virtual, of course, you can certainly connect via email, and I'll share that with you in just a second. So, what is community engagement? Well, community engagement basically is a response to a community need. So basically how it works through my office is that an organization will give us a call and say, hey, I have a situation. Do you have any professors and students who would be willing to collaborate with us to find a solution to our situation? So I then relay the information and I find professors and students who can get together. And if there is a match, we make a project. So obviously your next question might be, well, what do those projects look like? Well, they come in all shapes, sizes, and forms. If you look over here to the left side of your screen, we can see tutoring and mentoring. And you're going to hear more about this with the PEP program for the end of today's session. But that's tutoring and mentoring children from grade school, from middle school, and including high schools in the area. As you go down the left side of the screen, you can see beautification projects. It can be as simple as planting flowers, or it could be major, like planting trees. It could be painting waterfall outlets. That means that they go to the city and they paint all the drains to make people aware that if they throw something down that drain, it's going to go out to the waterway, and that will affect any marine life and plant life along that waterway. In the middle, you see students along the Schuylkill River Trail. Penn State has adopted a 1-mile portion of that trail, and we go out there twice a year to clean up any debris that might be along the trail. We do some water testing, and we check the general health and welfare of the marine life and birds along that trail. To the right of the screen, you see us participating in our cleanup of Bear Park. We do that also twice a year. There are several children that use the park, And then unfortunately, there's adults that go there too and leave a lot of trash. So we go in as we partner with the city of Reading for most of these projects, and we clean that up to make it as safe for those children as it can possibly be as they play there. Down the bottom here on the right, you see some examples of students participating in bilingual storytelling. Whereas your public libraries offer this service, they only offer it in English. So this helps those students who speak Spanish. They can enjoy storytelling in both Spanish and English, and it really makes a big difference for them. Now, of course, all the possibilities here, well, some of them, I should say, have been put on hold because of the virus, but that doesn't mean that we stop engaging. Right now, we're running Operation Smilogram that you see in the middle. This is a virtual opportunity which has just exploded. It is going very, very well. Every week, students send me letters that I then pass along to seniors in senior communities where these poor people have been completely isolated since the virus began. So they love receiving these letters every week. It puts a smile on their face, and that's really the intent of the program. So that's going very well. All right, so you're thinking, wow, all these things look really good, but I'm really busy. Why should I participate? Well, of course, I'm going to tell you why. And there's several reasons. First of all, if you have ever looked at the definition of what our university is, it is definitely a part of our mission. So community engagement, as Penn State being a land-grant university, you can see it right here. Our number one priority is to educate, but we are also charged with offering public service. And we do that by engaging in collaborative activities. We're not going to step in and be someone's savior. We're going to work with them to find practical solutions to whatever they may need. Community engagement is also part of our Penn State values. So these values are front and center of everything we do here at Penn State. So you can see that community is right up there with all our other very important Penn State values. Okay, here's what's really interesting for you. Community engagement could very well help you get accepted into grad school. Of course, grad schools are looking for students with high grades, but they also want to know that you're a well-rounded person and you have an interest in stepping out beyond the classroom and helping your community. So this is important for your grad school applications. It may also help you get a job. So many times employers tell me that if they have 500 applicants for one opening, they take all those applications that have community service on them and they put them toward the top of the pile. So that's really good. Plus, it could also get you a job promotion. There are now several companies that offer or that expect their people to do community engagement. And the more you do, the better, you get along in the company and you get promoted faster. Of course, all of this goes without saying that you perform these services because you get a really good sense of self-satisfaction in knowing that you've done something good for your community. All right, so on the screen in front of you, you see a sampling, just a sampling, because these are only a few of the partnerships that have been created with CACE in the community. They range anywhere from art projects to health projects to ways you can use mathematics to teaching reading or teaching English, and the list just goes on and on and on. So if you don't want to go local, if you'd rather go bigger, CACE also offers international partnerships. Our largest partnership right now is with the University of Split. We take students overseas with us to participate in conferences with the professors and students from the University of Split. Of course, this year we're doing it virtually, but it's still a great opportunity for both professors and students. We have opportunities with the University of Salamanca, upcoming opportunities in Ecuador, and the list really goes on and on and on. So think big or think small, but whatever you do, we hope that you will engage. So these are several opportunities that CACE has to offer. You can do it as a volunteer opportunity. You can do it as part of your course as service learning. It can be an internship. The possibilities are endless. So in a nutshell, that's what I'm going to talk about because I want to make sure everybody else has time. So I will let you know again, if you have any questions, you can ask them at the end of the session. And on the screen in front of you, you can see my email information. And once again, when we are on campus, then my office is in Franco 144. All right, so that does it for me. So thank you very much. And the next person that we're going to hear from is going to be, I lost my list. It's Dr. Masa Kathanpour. So she's going to talk to you about sustainability. So I hope you enjoy her presentation as well. Thank you very much.
Hi, everyone. I'm going to share my screen as well so that you get to see what I'm going to be talking about. So thank you for joining us today. I am Masa Kathanpour, Associate Professor of Science Education, and also coordinate sustainability efforts here on campus. And as part of the conversation, as Dr. Chambers just talked about, I want to talk about our sustainability efforts on campus, as well as ways that you can get involved and be engaged as well, and to also take part in terms of getting empowerment, making yourself marketable, and so on and so forth. So to begin with, a lot of people have misconceptions as to what sustainability even refers to. A lot of people tend to think that sustainability revolves around only environmental issues or simple things like recycling. So before we get started, we need to actually have a well-defined, understanding of what sustainability refers to. Basically, it means that we will try to meet the needs of our current generation, but at the same time, allow future generations to meet their needs as well. If we take a look at the UN Sustainability Development Goals that are on the slide, you'll see that this goes beyond the environment. In order to be able to achieve sustainability, we need to address environmental, economic, as well as social issues as well. So in order to have zero poverty or zero hunger, or to have good quality education, access to quality water and hygiene, things like that, to have climate action, it really revolves around the interrelationship between the environment, economy, and society. So we have to think about it in those terms. So what we are trying to do here at Berks, and anybody who's focusing on achieving sustainability, it really goes into making sure that we are raising people's awareness, our own awareness of sustainability related issues, and looking at those interrelationships of the environmental, social, and economic justice and equity issues. So we want to raise literacy and awareness. We want to make sure that we're expanding sustainable practices, and that we're going to the core of the systemic challenges that are facing us. And students can get involved in so many different ways. One way is to actually take classes such as the ones that Dr. Chambers talked about right now that involve service learning and community-based engagement. I teach a course by Sci 3 environmental science class, just as an example, that's open to all majors, and students take part in what is referred to as the ECAP project, Environmental Awareness and Community Action Project. So each semester, my student teams get paired up with organizations locally who've got projects that they need students to work on, and they participate in a variety of projects, some of which were seen on Dr. Chambers' slides as well. So students can be asked to make educational materials, actually conduct lessons for local elementary school students, create rain gardens or clean up rivers, all sorts of things, create educational infographics for City of Reading. So different semesters I work with different organizations, but the idea is for students to actually take part in their community, local community, and feel empowered and find ways that they can actually be engaged. The students then go on to share their experiences and what they find in terms of the service that they do, as well as what they learn about these sustainability related issues as part of a poster session and also in-class presentations. And then they also chronicle their work on a webpage that if we have a chance to talk about, I'll show that a little bit later on. So these are some things that you could do as part of classes. I also get my students, both the education students as well as the BISCI students, involved in visits that we have by local elementary school students. Normally I do this on an annual basis. Obviously we didn't do it this year, but where we bring our students from the local Reading School District. They come, they get a tour of the campus, they get to see our greenhouse, and who's leading these kinds of stations, activities, and the tours are basically our students. So that's another way that our students get engaged. Another fabulous way to get engaged as students is to join the sustainability team, which is soon to be named council. And basically this is a group of faculty, staff, students, administrators, basically anybody who's interested in sustainability related efforts on campus and beyond the campus. And I put the Microsoft Teams group that we have. I'll talk about how you can connect a little bit later on. But this group is extremely active. We have events to raise awareness every year. So we have the Earth Fest in the spring, and we have the Fall Fest in the fall. And these are the huge events where the community is actually involved and both invited to participate in and also to actually lead stations and activities. Students are, again, a really important part of these events. They are part of the planning process. They actually lead stations. They put educational materials for people that stop by to be able to use and, things like that. So you can see some of those in the images here. We've done this for the past 5 or so years, and unfortunately, we're not able to do it this year in person. But again, student engagement, this is open to the public. You get to interact with community organizations, you get to interact with the public. And again, it's a nice way to build those relationships, collaborate, communicate, and so forth. These are just some of the activities. And then we do the same thing in the fall, in October or November, where it's sustainability in higher education. So again, our students are very much involved. We have a series of film screenings each year, and these film screenings, as you can see from the titles, cut across the issues that deal with environmental, economic, and social justice. And we have speakers and panel discussions almost always following these film screenings in order to be able to kind of engage in discussions as to what it is that we can actually do to address these issues. And we've had a series of other speakers, local community organizations that have led trainings and workshops as well. One of the neatest ways that students can get involved as part of the sustainability team and the offshoot of that, the club, the student club, is to push for efforts to take place here on campus and also in the community. One of the ones that I'm very proud of that the students actually really pushed for was a couple of years ago with a composting effort that several of our students, as well as our sustainability team members, were interested in having composting on our campus. But since we couldn't do it, they started small scale, and you see some of those students here. So they actually set up bins across campus. They collected them on a weekly basis, took them to the greenhouse area, and you can see a map. And they also created educational materials, educational videos, to go and kind of go along with it. And they push as part of the sustainability team for these kinds of efforts to take place on our campus. So there's a variety of ways that you can get involved. You can always email me. You can join our Microsoft Teams. You can see our website, which I'm going to show you. But what is really important is for you to showcase the things that you are doing. So a lot of our students are highly talented. You're pursuing fields that deal with sustainability, whether it be engineering or business, writing, anything like that. So what you're looking at right now, hopefully, is the webpage for the sustainability efforts on campus, and this is going to get revamped soon. But what you see is that the different initiatives are showcased, student involvement, student engagement in the community, things that the students have actually created are all part of that webpage. And our idea is to actually have the sustainability development goals there with faculty, students, and other kind of research or teaching or any other projects to be kind of placed there. You can see our events and other initiatives, and you can learn about that. So there's a variety of ways that you can get engaged. And again, just like Dr. Chambers said, this is a great way to feel empowered and to build those connections. And later on, be able to say, hey, I know how to make connections in my community and I know how to make a difference. So that's a little kind of nutshell in terms of sustainability efforts here on campus. And next we have Dr. Jill Burke. So I'm going to pass.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to take a moment to share my screen and talk about another engagement opportunity that we have at Penn State Berks. Well, at Penn State actually in general. So I'm going to talk with you a little bit about a curricular portion that can integrate all of the things that have already been discussed by Dr. Chambers and Dr. Kazempour, and some of the things that will be discussed after me by some of our other panelists. So we do have a minor in civic and community engagement at Penn State. And this is an inter-college minor. It consists of 18 credits. And one of the things that makes it an inter-college minor is that it's a minor that can be received and obtained across the Penn State system. So if students are interested in doing a 2+2 curriculum, they can certainly still be a CivCom minor and they can finish that minor at another Penn State campus. Or if they're planning to stay at Berks 4 years, they can of course start the minor and finish it at Penn State Berks. So it does consist of 18 credits. And one of the easiest ways to talk about this minor is to talk about it as an integration of classroom learning and field experience. So the minor requirements have a combination of both of those kinds of things. So I'll talk a little bit more about that, but that's the easiest way to sort of sum up the minor in a nutshell. Students that are interested in areas of public service, public policy, government, working perhaps for a nonprofit, working in community engaged or education, advocacy and social activism tend to be interested in obtaining this minor. But one of the great things about it is it works really nicely with a bunch of different kinds of majors. So we have students who are engineering students. I have 2 right now that are CivCom minors, because part of their passion in engineering leans towards sort of community structures and engineering as far as community building goes, and sustainability. So they decided to obtain this minor to support their career goals. We also have students who are interested in things such as political science, students interested in sociology and communication, and a bunch of, like I said, a lot of different majors support this minor very nicely. It is extremely flexible, and that's one of the great things about the minor from my perspective, is there is one required class and then a bunch of different, what I'm going to call them, categories of different types of classes that students need to take. But it's flexible in that students who are CivCom minors meet with me as the Civic and Community Engagement Coordinator, and I work with them to create an individualized path. So I talk with them about their major, the classes that they're interested in taking, their goals. I talk with them about the general education classes that they've taken or plan to take, because sometimes we can integrate all of these things really nicely. And it doesn't, students don't have to stay an extra semester to complete a minor or anything like that. So it's flexible and it can be individualized, and it is very interdisciplinary in nature, which appeals to a lot of students and allows them to take the classes and gear the minor towards the interests in which they ultimately have. So I'm the minor coordinator. And so that's one of the things that I just actually mentioned and just came up, is that there's a lot of support from faculty, and I work with a lot of the other faculty here, and we talk about the classes that they are teaching and the projects in those classes to make sure that they fulfill the minor requirements. So the one class that is required is a class called CACE 222. It also can be cross-listed at a number of other campuses, but it's called Foundations of Community and Civic Engagement. And that's the class that if students want this minor, they have to take that class. It's a theoretical foundations class, but then there are a lot of other areas that they can branch off on. The students have to do one supervised field experience, which is we normally talk about things that they're interested in, and perhaps one of the classes that Dr. Kazimpour teaches that has that service learning element in it, that could count as a supervised field experience. We have some students that, pre-pandemic would travel for spring break and do service projects. It's called an alternate spring break, and that has a classroom component. We can count that as a supervised field experience. So it basically is any type of class where there's some type of service learning, community-based research project, volunteering activity, where we can discuss what that experience is and how it links to their class. That would be a requirement. And then students have to take 1 or 2 classes in a broad field that we call public issues and democracy. So these are classes that deal with, they could be history classes, they could be government classes, they could be advocacy classes, they could be a class that's only on perhaps sustainability, because that's a public issue, and we could fit that into that requirement. So there's a bunch of classes that fulfill this sort of grouping of the minor, and students need to take one class or two, depending on their interests in that area. Then we also have related fields. Related fields is also a very broad, open-ended grouping that students can fulfill this requirement with a lot of general education classes on campus. And once again, when a student talks with me, we create a plan and we look at the course content, and then we outline, what in this course makes it a course that is dealing with issues of democracy, or what in this course makes it a supervised field experience course. So we outline all of that and discuss that. And some students, I'm trying to think of other things that students take in related areas. Sometimes classes, for example, there's a communication arts and sciences class called argumentation. And we could make an argument that argumentation can fall in the related fields category especially for students who are interested in advocacy and activism, because they're learning a skill set that they can certainly use within their field. And then lastly, there is a public scholarship capstone. This is a 400 level class. Ooh, I don't know what happened to my share, I'm sorry. This is a 400 level class there we go, that normally has some type of project in it. So it normally has a research project associated with it, a paper, something, a larger, maybe sustainability project, a campus-wide project, a community-based research project that is oftentimes, it can be linked to a class, or it could be an independent study research project that a student works on throughout an entire semester and then presents to a public audience about his or her work and how it contributes to civic and community engagement. So I've had students work in this area where maybe they're working alongside a faculty member who is doing research, or maybe they've created their own project and it somehow ties in with something that they're interested in related to perhaps their major. So this also is very, structured, open-ended, structured yet open-ended at the same time, that allows, for students to support their areas of interest and the things that they're interested in. So here is my name and contact information. And like I said, I'm the Civic and Community Engagement Minor Coordinator on our campus. But there are, ways to, if you're interested in 2+2, do this at other campuses. And I would definitely be the person that you could contact. We also have a website. So you can just Google CivCom at Penn State, and you can find the website that has all the requirements on it as well. So thank you very much. And I am going to switch over to Dr. English and Dr. Martin.
Thank you all for all you've done so far. Dr. Martin and I are going to talk to you about the Social Justice Collaborative. We'll talk a little bit about what we do and some ways that students can be involved.
Okay, and we're going to tag team this. So, hi, I'm Dr. Lauren Jade Martin. Colleen English and I just took on leading this group, the Social Justice Collaborative. And we've been around for about 4 years. And the SJC, we are a group of faculty and staff who get together, and all of us have interest in, and many of us have expertise in social justice issues. So we come from all over the college, from multiple places, and we get together. Our interests are through scholarship, teaching, training, mediation, and other service. On the slide here is the website for our group if you want to get a little more info there.
So as you can see, our mission is to work to further the principled exploration and engagement of critical social issues. And we like to do this in a variety of ways. So we have over the last 4 years, done a lot of support of one another through curricular and teaching issues, trying to help one another. We have attended or created programming that addresses issues around things like equity and trying to eliminate oppression and discrimination. And one thing that we've really enjoyed doing is working closely with students and inviting them to come and speak with us and tell us about their experiences on campus in relation to issues of social justice, so that we can have a better understanding of student experiences and work together to move toward social justice in particular here on the Berks campus. So that has been a really valuable part of our mission.
So as a relatively new group on campus, we've worked hard with each other to identify, to write our mission statement, and also come up with a group of shared values that our group has and that we promote on campus and in our teaching and in our work with students. Some of these shared values that we have are on the screen here, and these include things like social justice, anti-racism, intersectionality, which if people have questions about that, we can talk about that more in the Q&A, solidarity, collaboration, accountability, and having this holistic view of language and understanding that sometimes the words that we use and choose to use have social impact.
And since we are the Social Justice Collaborative, it would be a good idea to give you a definition of what we mean when we're talking about social justice. So we're typically doing work that engages with social issues, whether those current social issues are about things like racism or sexism or LGBTQ plus rights. In general, most of our work is trying to challenge existing power structures, whether they're in culture or government or law or medicine or any other kind of institution, trying to work toward challenging them, engaging with them, and ultimately pushing towards a more equitable society. And so we're pretty diverse in terms of field discipline as well. So this can be people who do sociology and history and philosophy and other humanities, but it might be people in the sciences as well, studying biology. It can be people in business studying economics. It's not a discipline specific, and our group is multidisciplinary and goes across campus. So all of this work, no matter if you are interested in science or engineering or humanities, you can find issues of social justice and help push toward that equitable society.
Okay, so this, you might be wondering, well, what does this have to do with students? Although we are very much driven by faculty and staff, we do want to have students be involved with our group, with our collaborative. So one of the ways that students can really get involved with this is through a certificate program. So a certificate is slightly different from a minor. It's not as intensive as the minor, like Dr. Burke talked about with the CivCom minor. But this is a brand new certificate program that was developed by the Social Justice Collaborative, really led by Dr. Jessica Shocker and Dr. Justin DeCenso. And this certificate allows students who are really interested in studying social justice issues to take a series of classes that focus on that and come out with this actual certificate at the end to show that they've done the work. So the classes that they take tend to focus on social justice issues, obviously. So they look at power structures, racism, sexism. We talk about sexuality, class, faith, ability, all the things you see listed here. Unlike a minor, which is usually 18 credits, a certificate, this only requires 12 credits of coursework. And there's one required class, and that's taught by Dr. DeCenso and Dr. Shocker, called SOC 2059, which is critical race theory. That's really the core class. And then after that, students can take a number of classes to fulfill the rest of the certificate requirements. So they need 9 credits of other qualifying coursework, and they can work with the coordinators of the certificate program, Dr. Shocker and DeCenso, to help them figure out which classes might qualify for that. So we have a long list of classes in a variety of disciplines in sociology and women's studies and English and CACE and all across our college curriculum. And then the last thing students need to do is to complete a capstone project. So like I said, this is a brand new certificate program. So I don't believe any students have actually gone to the capstone project yet, but this could be, it could be a number of things. They could put together a website, write a paper, make a zine, do a video or a podcast. It's a chance for them to do something creative that illustrates the work that they've put in to fulfill this.
We also have some students who have been interested in forming a student group of the Social Justice Collaborative. With the current pandemic situation and everything being on Zoom, it's been very difficult to organize. So if there are students who would like to do that, you can contact either one of us and we'll point you in the right direction. So this is our contact information, and try to help grow that. We're very hopeful that that will continue to grow, especially as we can move towards in-person in the future for meetings and kind of wrangle some of the interest that the students have been showing. So we're very hopeful with that. And you can also feel free to contact us with any questions about the Social Justice Collaborative, the minor, or any other things about that. So thank you. And I will pass this off to Sonia, who will provide us with some info from the PEP program provided by Guadalupe Casper.
Great, thank you. Thank you so much for this information. And I'm going to go ahead and play a video for everybody. And here we go.
Hello, my name is Guadalupe Casper, and I am the program manager for the Penn State Educational Partnership Program, better known as PEP. This program is a partnership between the Reading School District and Penn State Berks spanning over 3 decades. I have been the program manager since 2005, as well as a Haas Division faculty in the elementary and early childhood education program. PEP operates as a college preparatory enrichment and academic supplementary program for the Reading School District. As a partner, the Reading High School annually recruits participants to its PEP program, usually occurring after school, from grades 9 through 12, based on student interests and students' aspirations to go to college. Also as a partner, Penn State Berks recruits PEP Learning Assistants, or PLAs, every fall and spring semesters to work or volunteer in the program and be placed at the high school during the PEP schedule. PEP recruits Penn State Berks students from all majors and levels for the PLA position. PLAs generally tutor and serve as mentors to the Reading High School PEP participants. The PLA position serves as a job opportunity for all Penn State Berks students to work off campus with high school students in the Reading High School. One of the unique features of our program is that it serves as a pipeline of students from Reading High School to college, since our campus has the ability to follow students from the high school program who later enroll as students here at Penn State Berks. Students who graduate from Reading High as members of PEP and enroll in college are called PEP Scholars. We currently have 6 PEP Scholars enrolled at Penn State Berks, and I've personally seen many more go on to graduate from Penn State. On the Penn State Berks side of this partnership, PEP has also served as an academic service learning site for some of our faculty who teach via service learning curriculum or who offer their students field experiences within the community, since PEP provides for the campus a long-established partnership and many opportunities for our Penn State Berks students to engage with the local community in a multitude of collaborative efforts. Finally, what I feel is the core to the partnership is its ability to foster a unique relationship between our Penn State Berks students and the Reading High School students. The PEP Learning Assistant, or the PLA position that we offer here at the campus, is critical to the function, the operation, and the overall success of this program. I can't tell you enough about how inspirational and important the PLA role is in this partnership. Therefore, I'm going to allow a seasoned PLA tell a little bit more about her experiences.
Hi, my name is Stacy Hansel, and I'm in my 4th year of college at Penn State Berks. I will be graduating this semester of spring of 2021. My major is in life science and my minor is in psychology, and I originally began as a PLA for PEP in my junior year of my fall semester. I have worked for being a PLA for PEP for a semester and a half. It should have been 3 semesters, but sadly, COVID took over. I will be a PLA again this semester virtually because of COVID. This is upsetting because I miss the in-person interactions with each student, but I'm still happy that I will still be helping students succeed in wherever they might need assistance. I love being a PLA because I love making connections with both faculty and with the students. It's humbling to see the students grow throughout the semester with help from all the PLAs. As a PLA, it makes me so proud to see them succeed in their schoolwork or their process into further education. Being a PLA comes with some amazing benefits for future education opportunities, employment opportunities, and even just personal self-accomplishment. One way this helps me is internally is because of my connections with the faculty and the students. Another benefit of being a PLA is that Penn State pays us for our time mentoring the students. Finally, another way this benefits me specifically is it looks valuable for my application into veterinary school. Veterinary schools are so competitive, so being a PLA shows them that I have leadership qualities and that I have experience in mentoring others in an educational environment. Being a PLA also enhances my academic experiences. It keeps me learning and it helps me out in some of the courses that I'm currently enrolled in. In conclusion, being a PLA to help students from Reading High School is an amazing experience. It feels amazing to see students accomplish their goals and move further into their own education.
Thank you, Stacy. That was so well said. And thank you so much for all your service to our program. It wouldn't work without you. So I also, if anybody is interested in learning more about the program, you can look us up on the Penn State Berks website, and we do offer the position under the jobs site at our website as well. And once we do return to campus, you can also find us in the Jansen Conference Center building in rooms 8 and 9. I wanted to just quickly share a few slides from some past experiences with our PEP learning assistants, as well as some of the students that have gone through our program over the years. Since this program has been around on campus for over 30 years, I've seen lots of students go through. So a lot of the students you're seeing pictured here have not only been in the program through the Reading School District, but have also been students here at Penn State Berks. So these are just some pictures of students from over the years. So we hope we can see some more students come through our program. Right now, we are offering just virtual tutoring at the high school, and we look forward to seeing more of our Penn State Berks students in person in the near future. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Guadalupe and Casper, for sharing all of that information on PEP with us today. And I would like to invite our audience now to submit any questions that you might have as you're listening to our presenters today. But if it's okay with our presenters, I'm going to just pose one to you, and everybody doesn't have to respond. But as I'm hearing all of these opportunities for faculty, staff, and students to really engage and interact, I guess I'd like to hear a little bit about what each of your experience has been. Like, as an employee of Penn State Berks, what keeps you here? You are very talented and gifted people, but what keeps you here at Berks, and what keeps you coming back one semester after the next?
I think that's real easy to answer. I have taught in other institutions, and the thing that I just noticed right from the start at Penn State is we have a great congeniality. That means that people work together, people like one another, people help one another. And that is so important. I mean, so many places, everybody does their own thing and nobody wants to share. That's not the case here. As you just heard from all of us, a lot of our programs overlap. You can go to any one of us for information. Everybody is willing to help. We promote one another. And I think that's the thing that we have here at Penn State Berks that a lot of other places don't have. So it's the people and it's our programs and it's how much we care about one another.
I can echo what Dr. Chambers just said as well, and also add to that the fact that I think a lot of us not only stay at Berks, but are engaged in these kinds of projects and these kinds of activities is the fact that we see our students be empowered semester after semester, you know, with these kinds of different activities, whether it's PEP, whether it's the Social Justice Collaborative. I think seeing the students be engaged and be part of the community is what keeps us going. I've been told I'm crazy to do the ECAP project for one, you know, for example, but the reason I don't give it up or the other things that I do is the fact that every semester the students amaze me, that the students do things that others have always said youth are not engaged, youth are not informed, youth are not interested, but they prove everybody wrong. So for me, that's been very, you know, kind of something that keeps me going semester after semester.
I would also say the size of the campus also is one of the greatest features of Penn State Berks, that we can get to know the students and the students can get to know us, and the students can, you know, I have students in my classes who are, you know, engineering majors and business majors, even though I teach sociology and women's studies, and I know they're faculty members in engineering and business, and so we can talk with each other about lots of different issues and really get to know each other, and the students can as well.
Great, thank you. Thank you for those wonderful responses. And I did want to share, we do have a question and a comment coming in. Excellent work today and presentation. So thank you for that. There is a question though, how can a new student find information each semester?
That is an excellent question. And when we are on campus, you have to look at the TV monitors because I think all of us post information there. You can easily just walk around the campus and on our doors, we have information as to who we are and what we do. So you can find information there. As you notice from the information, almost everybody has a website. So one thing that Penn State is really good about is disseminating information. So if you go into any search engine and you type in sustainability at Penn State, the Civic minor at Penn State, the Social Justice Collaborative at Penn State, CACE at Penn State, you'll get a whole bunch of information. And then if that's too much to digest as a new student, certainly get a hold of any one of us. That's why we all put our names and email addresses, because we're happy to talk to all of you about any questions you may have.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Dr. Chambers. Did anybody else want to share any closing thoughts before we wrap up our session today? I know sometimes when we're listening to all of this information, it's like, oh, I forgot to mention that. So please feel free to make those closing comments now.
One of the things that I wanted to respond to that question and echo the things that my fellow colleagues said was, because of the size and our interest in our campus, we all, like, someone could ask me about who to get in contact with for the Social Justice Collaborative, and I could help to make a connection that way. So I would say, please don't hesitate if you don't think you have the right person. We'll help to find the right person to you. Just ask if you can't find the information on our websites or on campus, because talking with one of your faculty members or reaching out to one of us, we can help to make those connections for you. And that's a really great thing about Penn State Berks as well.
And since this video is going out to the public, I should mention that for the community, it's the same. If you want information about how any one of our programs could possibly assist you, certainly get in touch with us. Like I said, there is lots of information on the website, and usually then the website will direct you to a place where you can ask questions. So both students and community partners alike have lots of information available to you, and we're all willing at any point to answer your questions.
All All right. Well, I'd like to thank everybody here on our panel. Thank you for joining us today. And I would also like to share, like I, for one, am definitely feeling majorly engaged and excited about all of the opportunities that are available here at Penn State Berks. I'd also like to thank our audience for joining us. And please understand that as you click out of the webinar, you will receive access to a survey. Please take the few minutes required to complete the survey to let us know what you thought about today's chat and perhaps even offer some ideas for future chats. You are encouraged to reach out to us via email, and we will be checking our page. And please also you check it so that you can see what are some upcoming opportunities that are going to be part of our series here for the LionSide Chats. And actually, our next chat is on Friday, March 12th at 12:15, where we will conduct our third and final resources roundtable chat for the semester, connecting the campus with representatives from the Advising Center, the Learning Center, Writing Center, Support Services, and Counseling Services. So a whole bunch of more people you can reach out to and connect with. So be sure to come back soon and meet with other faculty, staff, or students to learn about our exciting majors and experiences that even you can be a part of here at Penn State Berks. So stay safe, Berks and beyond, and signing off until next time, this has been the Penn State Berks LionSide Chats.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Lovely job. Such a pleasure. Pleasure. Everybody stay safe, okay?
Okay, you
Take care.
too.
Have a good
Thank
day.
you. Bye.
Bye.